What you are about to learn has been buried beneath layers of military classification and government silence for decades. Israel's 160 Squadron is not a conspiracy theory. It is the product of a very real strategic need born from geography, surrounded by genuine threats, and built upon one of the most sophisticated military doctrines in modern history. Most people who follow Middle Eastern affairs have never heard this unit's name. Most defense journalists have never been able to confirm its operational details. Yet the strategic logic behind its existence and the verified pattern of precision operations across the region tell a story that demands serious examination. This is not entertainment. This is education. This is the documented reality of how modern states protect themselves in an era where the most important military operations are the ones that leave the fewest traces. After World War II ended in 1945 and following the Holocaust that murdered 6 million Jewish people across Europe, the modern state of Israel was established in 1948. From the very first day of its existence, Israel faced an immediate and existential military threat. 5 Arab nations launched coordinated military operations against the newly declared state within hours of its independence announcement. Israel survived that first war, but the fundamental security challenge never disappeared. Israel is a nation approximately 470 kilometers long and at its narrowest point only 15 kilometers wide. This geographic reality means any military breach of its borders reaches populated civilian areas within minutes. This unique vulnerability forced Israeli military planners to develop a security doctrine fundamentally different from larger nations. Israeli defense doctrine became built around 3 foundational pillars, which were early warning intelligence and rapid preemptive capability, and the ability to project military force far beyond its own borders before threats could materialize into attacks on Israeli soil. The Israeli Air Force, known in Hebrew as the Hail Haver, was established in 1948 during Israel's War of Independence, initially operating with a small collection of purchased and smuggled aircraft against vastly larger Arab air forces. What it lacked in numbers, it compensated for through exceptional pilot training standards and innovative tactical thinking. The most dramatic demonstration of Israeli air power came during the Six-Day War of June 1967. In less than 3 hours on the morning of June 5th, Israeli aircraft destroyed approximately 90% of the Egyptian Air Force while it sat on the ground. This preemptive strike remains one of the most studied military operations in aviation history. This victory established a foundational lesson that would shape Israeli air doctrine for generations. The decisive military advantage belongs to the side that strikes first and strikes with information superiority over its opponent. To understand why nations develop classified aviation units, it is essential to first understand the limitations of conventional military air power in the modern geopolitical environment. When a nation conducts an acknowledged airstrike against another country, the consequences extend far beyond the military dimension. Diplomatic relationships are strained or severed. International organizations demand explanations and accountability. Allied nations face pressure to publicly respond. Economic consequences can follow in the form of sanctions or trade restrictions. Covert aviation capabilities exist precisely to address this problem. They allow governments to pursue legitimate national security objectives without triggering the full political consequences of acknowledged military action. This is not unique to Israel. The United States operated the classified U-2 reconnaissance aircraft for years before its existence became public. Classified aviation capability is a standard feature of serious military establishments worldwide, and not an exceptional or uniquely controversial practice at all. Israel's capability to conduct precision military operations at significant distances from its own territory is not theoretical. It is extensively documented through verified historical record. In June 1976, Israeli Special Forces conducted Operation Entebbe, flying over 4,000 kilometers to Uganda to rescue 102 hostages held at Entebbe airport. The operation succeeded completely. In June 1981, the Israeli Air Force conducted Operation Opera, which was a precision airstrike against Iraq's Osirak nuclear reactor located approximately 1,100 kilometers from Israeli territory. Israeli aircraft destroyed the reactor before it became operational, setting back Iraq's nuclear program by years. In September 2007, Israel conducted Operation Orchard, which was an airstrike against a nuclear facility under construction in Syria. The strike destroyed the facility completely, and Israel neither confirmed nor denied involvement for over a decade, finally acknowledging the operation in 2018. Each operation demonstrates Israel's consistent ability to strike far beyond its borders. One of the most intellectually important concepts in understanding Israel's military doctrine is what strategists call deliberate ambiguity, which is the intentional policy of neither confirming nor denying involvement in specific military operations or the possession of specific military capabilities. This is not simply secrecy for its own sake. It is a carefully calculated strategic tool that serves multiple simultaneous objectives. First, deliberate ambiguity denies adversaries the information they need to develop effective countermeasures. If an enemy does not know precisely what capabilities you possess, they cannot accurately plan around those capabilities. Second, it reduces diplomatic pressure on allied nations who might face political difficulties if forced to publicly acknowledge Israeli military operations. Third, it maintains strategic unpredictability, which is one of the most valuable assets any military establishment can possess. Israel has applied deliberate ambiguity most famously to its nuclear weapons program, which it has never officially confirmed despite widespread international consensus that it exists. Serious academic researchers, incredible defense analysts, and verified intelligence professionals have produced a substantial body of documented work examining Israel's classified military aviation capabilities. The Begin Sadat Center for Strategic Studies and the International Institute for Strategic Studies have both published research acknowledging Israel's development of extended-range precision strike capabilities beyond those publicly disclosed. Former CIA Director Robert Gates publicly stated in 2011 that Israel possessed the capability to strike Iranian nuclear facilities. His statement implied capability beyond acknowledged Israeli air assets. The Washington Institute for Near East Policy has documented in multiple publications Israel's pattern of conducting precision strikes against weapons proliferation targets across the region. Aviation Week and Space Technology, which is widely considered the most authoritative publication in defense aviation, has reported on anomalous Israeli Air Force activity and platform modifications that defense analysts were unable to fully account for using only publicly acknowledged aircraft and systems. No precision military operation, regardless of how advanced the aviation platform executing it may be, can succeed without exceptional intelligence preparation. This is a fundamental principle of military science, and it is particularly relevant to understanding how Israel conducts classified long-range operations. Israel's intelligence community is widely recognized by international defense researchers as among the most capable in the world. The Mossad, which is Israel's foreign intelligence service, has demonstrated a consistent ability to develop detailed intelligence on targets located in deeply hostile environments across multiple decades. Unit 8200, which is Israel's signals intelligence organization, is regularly assessed by international cybersecurity researchers as operating at the technological frontier of electronic intelligence collection. For a classified aviation unit to successfully execute a precision strike thousands of kilometers from Israeli territory against a hardened target, intelligence preparation must begin months or years before the first aircraft takes off. Electronic warfare, which is the use of electromagnetic energy to disrupt or deceive an enemy's electronic systems, has become one of the most critical domains of modern military aviation operations. Understanding its documented capabilities helps explain how precision strikes can be executed against targets protected by advanced air defense systems. During Israel's 2007 Operation Orchard strike against the Syrian nuclear facility, subsequent analysis by defense researchers revealed that Syrian air defense radar systems appear to have been compromised during the operation. This prevented them from effectively detecting or tracking the attacking Israeli aircraft. This capability was later analyzed in detail by researchers at MIT's Security Studies program and reported in credible defense publications. It pointed toward an advanced electronic warfare system that manipulated, rather than simply jammed, Syrian radar networks. Electronic warfare capabilities of this nature require sustained research and development investment and specialized platform integration that only the most advanced military establishments can achieve. Any serious educational examination of classified military operations must engage honestly with the significant ethical questions they raise. Covert military strikes, which are operations conducted without public acknowledgement against targets in countries where no formal state of war exists, occupy a complex and genuinely contested area of international law and military ethics. Proponents of such operations, including many serious legal scholars, argue they represent a proportionate and targeted response to genuine security threats, particularly those involving weapons of mass destruction. The documented destruction of Iraq's Osirak reactor in 1981 is widely credited by historians with preventing Saddam Hussein's Iraq from developing nuclear weapons, potentially saving millions of lives. Critics, including other serious legal scholars, argue that unacknowledged military operations undermine the international legal frameworks that govern the use of force. Both perspectives deserve honest engagement, and understanding this tension is essential to understanding the full context of classified military operations. After examining the verified historical record and the credible research literature and the documented pattern of Israeli military operations across several decades, several conclusions can be stated with reasonable confidence. Israel has consistently demonstrated the capability and willingness to conduct precision military operations at distances significantly beyond what its publicly acknowledged assets would suggest. Israel has systematically applied a doctrine of deliberate ambiguity to its most sensitive military capabilities, serving clear strategic purposes. The documented strikes against Osirak in 1981 and the Syrian facility in 2007 and multiple weapons convoys across the region represent verified instances of this capability being employed. What remains genuinely unknown is the precise organizational structure through which these capabilities are maintained and deployed. What the evidence strongly supports is that Israel maintains classified aviation capabilities operating beyond public acknowledgement, and understanding why nations develop such capabilities is essential to understanding modern geopolitical reality accurately. Thank you for watching this documentary examination of one of the most strategically significant and least publicly understood aspects of modern Middle Eastern security. If this educational content helped you develop a deeper and more informed understanding of how modern states manage complex security challenges, please support this channel by liking this video and subscribing for more rigorously researched documentary content. Every week, we examine verified historical events and documented military operations and credible strategic analysis to help our audience understand the world with greater depth and accuracy. Share this video with someone who wants to move beyond headlines and develop genuine understanding of the forces shaping our world. Leave a comment below with the topic you would like us to examine next, because our content is driven by the curiosity of this community. Subscribe and engage and stay informed, because the most important education is the education that helps you ask better questions about the world around you.